All right. Hey guys, this is the Bite Size Weekly. My name's Harish,
My name's Soham.
and today we're gonna be talking about some pretty interesting stuff.
Mhm.
Right? But first, how was your week?
My week, oh, it was crazy. APs that happened, so I'm just glad it's over with. We're very
Uh,
stressful all the whole year for these just 2 days, man. It's kind of crazy to think about.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we prepared so much, right?
Yeah,
Prepared so much, but I think I should have done a little bit more, right? But it's fine. I think we got through it. We did well.
we got through
Right?
it. I'm not even worried about that now. I'm just
It's in
just
the
you know,
past. It's in the
in the
past
past.
now. We don't gotta worry about
We
it.
we worry about it the day before scores come out. But yeah,
We got some time. We got some time. So I think we had AP Psych. You took AP Psych too, right?
yeah, I took Gov, Psych, and Macro.
Okay. How was macro? Did you take it already?
Mhm.
Okay. How was it?
Macro was pretty good. We're not supposed to talk about anything, right?
Oh yeah, we're not. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
It was all right.
So I think I got Lang AP Lang on Monday, right?
Mhm.
Got to do some preparing, but
Mhm.
other than that, I think our
Mhm.
week that's basically been our week for both of us, right? I
Yeah.
mean, what else can we do?
There's really just
but
nothing else.
but what's coming up is prom, right? We
Oh
got
yeah.
prom, senior
Uh-huh.
prom and junior prom. So I'm pretty excited for that. Are you going?
No.
No.
I was gonna go and then I forgot. I forgot. But then I realized like there's really no point
Yeah.
here.
I mean senior prom, right? That's where
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting you there, dog. I expect you there.
I expect myself too. But yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of. Do you have anything planned for the summer? Do you got any summer plans?
Couple road trips here and there.
I
Other
heard
than
about
that, no.
the road trip with like in the Impala. Okay, that
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna go on that, but
the Iron Box.
the Iron Box.
Oh my
But
god.
it's fun to plan them out. I think it's fun to think about, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
See, I mean, you
Uh,
could roll down the windows and
yeah.
that would be sick. That would,
Yeah.
but maybe sick for maybe 30 minutes, and then you'll
And
be annoyed
then
by the wind, and then you'll be
yeah.
annoyed.
The whole idea of it sounds really nice. But then when you actually do it's like so tired. I want to go back home.
That's. I mean, I guess it's fun either way, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's junior year, we got work, but after that we're chilling. Senior year, right? Then we're heading off.
Yep.
Right? Time flies by so fast. It's
Yep.
not even funny. Like
Mhm.
I think I came in freshman year thinking like, oh, it's gonna be the longest 4 years of my life, right? And here I am today, 3 years later. Junior year just finished the hardest year of high school.
Yeah, man. It was I thought the same thing, except the corona just went by like that, like half my high school like career or whatever. It just took
Yeah,
it away.
the high school experience, just
Yeah.
it ruined it, but
Hmm.
luckily it's over now. It's almost over now,
Luckily,
right?
the year we do get is supposed to be the chillest year. So
We finally get to go to Disney, right? We
yeah,
finally get to go on trips, get to go outside without a mask, right?
yeah,
If you're fully vaccinated. But
uh-huh.
finally,
Yeah.
right?
I think NJ said people 12 and up can get the vaccine now, so that's pretty cool.
That's great. That's great.
Hmm.
Other than that, dude, I think we should move on
Yep.
to bite size news.
What says news?
All right. So you guys might have heard of him, right? His name is Ever Lopez, right? He's 18. And what happened recently was that he wore a Mexican flag
Hmm.
over his graduation robe
Right.
and at graduation ceremony, and he was walking up to the podium, right?
Mhm.
And they told him that he couldn't receive his diploma, right? So I'll show you guys a quick video.
Yeah.
Share a sound. Okay.
Jasmine Judy Martinez Alion. Francisco Martinez Basilio. Ever Martinez Lopez. Rodrigo Martinez Sanchez. Christian Martinez Duran.
You can see the hold up here too.
Yeah, I mean, he's worried. He's like, what's going on?
That's so messed up. I think you can see this girl also representing. Right here.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I see the flag. Yep.
So they didn't say anything about that, or they might, but
I don't think they could see the top,
mm,
but
again, that's just messed up, right?
Yeah.
The way that he went up, they said his name, right, and they don't
Yep.
give his diploma.
Mhm.
It's just not right. But
like you say, all those watching the YouTube or all those listening through like the thing, don't be alarmed because we went back and forth. Just watch the YouTube video. I'll post it with the link on Spotify and wherever. But yeah.
I mean, to think about, which is put out the facts, right? The school does have a dress code, right? And if they did say that all students, could wear whatever they want,
Mhm.
right? Then it might not be as professional,
Mhm.
right? But and there's actually a Supreme Court case about this, right? But I'll talk about that later,
Mhm.
right? But let's just think about it. Didn't you have something about like a military student or
Yeah.
you want
So
to talk
I
about that?
mean, this was like, so this guy, I think he was a Marine. So he graduated from Marine Corps boot camp, I think his junior year, and
Mhm.
then he went back and finished his senior year, and graduated. Now, a uniform, like a Marine uniform, is supposed to be like a very like prestigious thing, right? You earned it, you got the title, and you should wear it. You should, it's a sense of pride. Now
Yeah.
he wore it, and that also under his robe, to graduation. They didn't let him walk. They withheld his diploma, and the argument was that if they do let one person do it, then they have to let everyone do it. But the thing is that couple things here. What you were talking about, the Supreme Court case, right? If you want to go off on that one.
So yeah, so there's a Supreme Court case, Tinker versus Des Moines, right? I think it happened. I forgot when it happened exactly.
Mhm.
1969, right? This
Mhm.
is basically where I think it was a community school, right?
Mhm.
Independent community school, and basically what happened was is that it was a 7-2 decision, right? Supreme Court majority ruled that said that students nor teachers shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or freedom of expression at the schoolhouse gate,
Right.
right? So and the court took position that the school officials could not prohibit only the suspicion that the speech might disrupt learning, right?
Mhm.
So let's just think about this here, like in this case, right? You said the marine uniform, right?
Yep.
That's not disrupting
It's not
anybody,
disrupting
right?
anyone. Yep.
And then the Mexican flag, it shows
Yeah.
it represents their ancestors, right? Their
Yep.
hard work. And then he wants to represent,
Mhm.
Mexico, right? And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
And
They're not even learning anything. They're just graduating. And
they're 4 years of hard work, and you're
yeah,
denying them because he wants to represent his
it,
culture,
it's
right?
their graduation. They should be able to do what they want. And it's not like he wore something so outrageous that
Yeah.
was obviously distracting, or like it was like it wasn't plainly inappropriate. It was just a flag, right? And by when I say just a flag, it was not doing anything. It was representing whatever he wanted to represent, and he had all the right to do it. As you said, no one sheds their right to freedom of speech and expression when they entered the school, except in extenuating circumstances of distraction and the safe learning environment. Wasn't doing any harm of that, right?
Exactly.
And
And
yeah,
sorry.
and
Um
it's a public school too, right? Like if it's a private place, right? Like if you were going into someone's thing, they could enforce a dress code, right? If they
mhm.
don't want you on on their property, leave the property. But this is a private, this is a public school. You can't do that on a public school.
Exactly. So the thing is, Tinker versus Des Moines, right? Basically they wore armbands, right? With
Yep.
like the peace sign on it, and it was like I think it was uh they wanted to end the war, right?
Mhm.
So I think it was Vietnam, I'm pretty sure,
I
right?
think so. Yep.
So basically they wore those armbands saying like, oh, they want their troops to come home, right,
Yep.
end the war, and
Mhm.
it was like, against the war. So basically they wore that throughout the
Mhm.
school day. They wouldn't explicitly bring attention to it, right? They
Mhm.
wouldn't, be disrupting learning, right,
Yep.
or doing it wrong. So they were allowed to express themselves,
Mhm.
especially on, school grounds and public
Mhm.
school grounds. And as you said before, if it's a private school, okay, maybe they have the right and they can say no, you cannot wear that, right?
Yeah, I
Because
mean, in a
you
private
might,
school, no, even if you're not doing anything, that if they want you out, you're out. Like,
I mean, you
but
sign a code of conduct, right, at the
yeah,
beginning of every school year, saying like, oh, you can't. There's certain rules that you have to follow as soon as you enter the school, right?
exactly.
But in the Supreme Court case, they said that no, you can express yourself, freedom of
Mhm.
expression. You don't shed your rights upon entering a schoolhouse gate, right?
Yeah,
And I think it's just so messed up the way that they just 12 years of hard work. I said 4 years before, but
yeah. I
12
mean,
years of hard
really, it
work.
is 12 years of hard. They're not graduating high school; they're graduating like school. They're
Yeah, they worked
yeah,
12 years of their life, and you're saying that he wasted all of that just because he wanted to
yeah,
express his
and yeah.
culture, right, and
And
ancestors.
here's the thing. I, all of that aside, my basic thing is, right? Don't do it while they're walking, right?
You called him up, right? You said his name,
Call
and
them
you're
up
saying,
and then don't deny that, right? So whatever problem you have, fix it before or fix it after.
Mhm.
Because one is you have some empathy that you're humiliating that person by letting them walk across and then not handing them their diploma. So if you have a problem with it, he was wearing the flag in the line. So an administrator or teacher could have easily pulled him aside and explained it or whatever. Obviously I'm not saying like he should have taken it off. I'm just saying if they had that problem, take him to the side, right?
you're
But
publicly shaming him,
you're
basically,
publicly
right?
shaming. You called him up, he walked, and then don't tell him there. Or give him something, give him like an empty canister or whatever, right? If you want to
I still think that's,
Yeah,
it's not right to
it's
do
not right.
that. And again, let me just say this is Ashboro High School, right?
Yep.
I'm just putting that out there just for anybody who wants
Yep.
to know. But going up publicly shaming him like that, saying like,
Yeah.
oh, he can't receive his diploma just because he's wearing the Mexican flag.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody would want to go through that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's his right, and it's not theirs to take away.
Yeah.
Right? I
And
don't.
I mean, they should have some basic decency. To one, they should first understand that he can do it. It's his right to do it. Then they should have some basic decency to not humiliate him in front of everyone, in front of all the parents, students, the people that you grew up with and went through so much with, your fellow, like your friends, right? And just deny him on the spot. Um, that's not it's not good. It's just it shows that
In
you
a way,
lack
you could
basic
say this
empathy.
is discrimination, right?
Yeah.
Because I've actually seen comments right before actually on this video itself saying like, oh, my nephew wore his Mexican flag to what's it his graduation ceremony and they
Right.
allowed it,
Mhm.
right? And if that's okay in other schools, why don't they allow it
Yeah.
in this school? Right? What's the problem?
Yeah.
It's you're ruining people's not just day, but
Yeah.
like you're ruining everything for them, right?
Correct.
They're maybe their future too, right? In a
Yeah.
way.
The thing is, like, I think people might argue, but it's the policy. Like, okay, I understand it's the policy, but the policy is stupid.
Mm.
Like at the end of the day, that policy doesn't make any sense. I think the guideline should be like, obviously, if it's something outrageous, like if you're wearing just your robe and nothing underneath, like that is not good. Like
Yeah.
you should not that should
Hate
not be
speech or
hate speech or anything, you know,
that
that is deemed like that. You don't obviously not right, but this isn't harming anyone. This is just a flag, a Mexican flag, and if you're saying, "Oh, but this is America," no, it is America, and that's why we have the right. That is why you probably won't be able to do this in other countries because this is America. So
I think that if they the school does, that's the thing about this, right? Like the school can do that, but is it they did put that maybe in like the school dress code, right? And maybe he did sign that, but there's some exceptions to it, right? Like that you have to
Right.
understand, like he's representing something,
Yeah.
right? Representation of culture that I think the Marine uniform that was representing his hard work,
Yeah.
right? And you're denying him of that.
Yeah. And I
I,
think the basic thing is, look, he, he if it was in the policy and he knew it, and you didn't read the policy, schools like, you didn't read the policy, but we said beforehand you can't go. And they'll be like, look, we said you can't go, and if you really do want to wear your flag, then just don't walk, right? But the thing is, like, I understand it's a policy, but we're not debating that. We're debating the policy. That policy doesn't make any sense.
hmm.
If they did have that policy, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think that should be implemented anywhere in public schools, right? In
I
public
mean,
schools,
I think he could get like an attorney or something, and then take it up in
definitely.
a in a, in
I
a
think
state court or federal
I
court.
I think they could definitely do that, because look, what we saw about um
Tinker versus Des Moines, right?
that we know the supremacy clause. You can't, federal law supersedes, and it's the
State law.
Constitution. It's a supreme law of the land.
Yeah,
It definitely supersedes a school policy, right?
yeah.
It's not even a state policy, it's a
Hmm.
school policy.
Hmm.
And you have the freedom of expression, you have the freedom of speech, and there's a Supreme Court case that clearly states that you do not shed any of those rights when you do enter the school. So legally, they got a case. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying from what I know, um, that makes
I
sense
think it's
to me.
also good to get what's it? We're putting this out there so that
Yeah,
it gets more attention, right?
yeah, for
Because
sure.
first off, whatever her name is, Miss Penny Crooks denied her. That's the person that denied it. The principal denied her or him
Right.
of getting his diploma in the first place.
Mhm.
And I think it needs the public's
Oh,
like
for sure.
attention, right? To
I
in
think
order to because it's just not fair, right?
because I
And
think that the thing that'll happen is, if this gets a lot of attention, and they do change their minds and whatever, because of the public pressure, then in the future, people won't get away with it, right? Like, this is to ensure that in the future no one's like rights are violated like that. So it's incredibly important that, if you have to show everyone that we it's not, the public won't just stand by and let it happen. If
maybe they should change their dress code, right? Maybe
Yeah,
we're not saying go nude to a graduation ceremony or
yeah,
go wear hate speech or
yeah,
maybe a swastika on your shoulder or
yeah.
something like
Don't
that.
That's just
But we're
extreme.
we're saying that if it represents something or hard work,
Mhm.
right, and dedication to, of
Yep.
course allow it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right now receiving a diploma that shows your hard work and
Mhm.
for like maybe 12 years, right? And who
Yeah.
says that you can't add on to that, right? Because it's your day and your day, time to shine, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not
I
the
think
principal's graduation, it's his graduation.
exactly, right? And I don't think there's that much else to say about it
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I think we went over a good amount of it, but
Mhm.
please spread this around, send it to your
Yep.
friends, family, right? Because it definitely needs more attention. We need justice for Ever Lopez, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're gonna be following up. If you follow our Instagram, we're gonna be following up on this. I'll for sure post any developments that have happened, or as we talked, like, if they did give him his diploma at the end, or anything like that, we'll keep posting it. So be tuned for that.
yeah. Um, I think this is kind of funny. Trump suspended from or moving on, right? But
Yeah,
Trump is suspended from Facebook for 2 years.
yeah. I
What
think
are your
it's
thoughts on that?
I think it's a very, like, I was thinking about this when it happened. Is I don't even care about, like, he's suspended or whatever. I was just thinking about the power of Facebook. Like, on one hand, if you say that this is a violation of the freedom of speech, right? You'd be right technically, because Facebook, we forget that it's a private company, but it's like such a big platform, right? But it's not really, you can't really enforce that because it's a private company. So you can't tell a private company what to do and what not to do, right?
Also, right? I mean, this happened to Twitter as well. I'm pretty sure, right? But when you're saying freedom of speech, you have to
Yeah,
recognize that you can't do like call to actions on there, right? Especially
yeah,
if it's going to be harmful to any institution of the United States,
yeah,
right? Or anything like that. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think we saw that at I think it was the Senate, right? Or not the
yeah,
Senate. We saw what might have been a call to action by him through social media,
Yeah.
right? And it makes sense. It makes complete sense why he
And
was banned, right?
yeah, and here's the thing, like, one is people are no, it is a in the end of the day, it is a political move because if you think about it, the elections are the next 2 years. If he's banned from a big platform, then chances are that he won't be able to get a lot of attention because if he is running for Congress or whatever, because he might, right? So if you think about the 2 years, just the time span of 2 years, it's like, oh my God, this is political because they're not letting him do it just for the next 2 years because the elections, like the 2022 elections, are going to come up. But on the other hand, they have every right to because it is a private company. Um, and the thing is that freedom of speech, right? We learned that it does have, it's not absolute, right? So in cases of, like, let's say libel, right? Defamation, then you can't just spread like you can't just spread false information about someone that defames them, right?
Mm.
And so that's one of the limitations there. And but I think it'll be interesting to see because this is an extreme cases of Trump. But if we look at just anyone else, right? If this happens to, let's say, any group or anyone who wants to speak out, that's pretty. It can create a lot of problems, right, in the future because even though Facebook is a private company, you have to realize they are the platform they are a platform of speech. So I think legally there has to be a very fine line, right? In one hand, you have the freedom of speech, right? And on the other hand, you have, okay, it's a private company. You really can't tell them don't, like, it's up to their discretion to allow someone or not allow someone, right?
It's a way to connect the public to not just to anyone, really.
Yeah.
You can put your word on there and it'll reach anyway, but that does not mean that people have to listen to it or take it to any account, right? I mean, that was something that we learned about.
That's the thing. No, you can do what you can say whatever you want. People
People don't have to
people
listen to
don't
it.
have to listen to you. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how this is navigated in the future because I know we had antitrust hearings and stuff like that. That was all for, like, information, but I'm saying just speech in general, because if you really think about it in today's day and age, speech is literally just social media. Like, yes, you can hold a press conference, yes, you can publish something yourself,
But
but
it's not
you're
being
gonna,
tailor made to,
yeah,
interest groups or anything
yeah,
right
you're
there.
not going to reach everyone that you want to reach, right?
Exactly.
You so we have to recognize that, yes, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they are all platforms of speech, and we have to recognize to some degree that by them censoring people, it is a hindrance of the First Amendment. But they also have, there are private companies that they can do. So we have to walk a very fine line to see, what happens and what doesn't happen. But it's interesting.
I think this also goes into the idea of like how society is evolving, right?
Yeah.
How are the old generation or like millennials, right, have evolved to not use like press conferences and all of that as like a source of
Mhm.
information, and how more people are using social media as a way of gaining their information, right?
Exactly.
But there's a bunch of downsides to that, right?
Mhm.
There's a bunch of downsides to that. Like I remember seeing this like TikTok thing, right? It was basically, I think it was like Jack Wright and this other girl. Let me just
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure. It was like
Sienna.
basically, yeah, Sienna, right?
Yeah.
Sienna May, right?
Mhm.
And what happened was is that they were at like a party or something, and then what Jack Wright allegedly claims is that he was being sexually harassed, right?
Yeah.
And then Sienna May comes out saying that with a statement that says like, "Oh, I did not sexually assault Jack Wright,
Mhm.
and I have receipts." And I watched that, like, I don't know, it was like maybe like a 10-15 minute video or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't see any receipts there. Right? I didn't see it. Was literally just a statement to the public saying that
Yeah.
she didn't do it with
Yeah.
no evidence or any proper like backup.
Yeah.
But the society, or not her fan base, basically said,
Mhm.
"Oh,
Makes sense,
she's
right?
she's right, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jack Wright's in the wrong here, right?"
Yeah.
But
You
then
really can't believe anything.
and the power of like social media influencers is actually
Yep.
insane how easily we believe any word that they say, right? So I
There's
think that's definitely a
right.
down
And social good point, social media influencers, and also just on Instagram you'll see, all those infographics.
mhm.
Like, not all of them are true. I would say majority of them are false information, but you can't the thing is that you can't restrict that.
Mm.
People want to say what they want to say. You know what you can restrict or not restrict? What one thing we can do is we can educate people and tell them that this is how to believe something, or not telling them what to believe, but if it's credible, right? um
See,
because
actually,
that's a big problem with our generation as a whole, is we see something and we believe it, right?
exactly,
No,
right.
you
See, like
snap out of it.
exactly, we have to stop doing that, right? Because after that whole video of CNMA,
Yeah,
with her apology or whatever
yeah,
saying, like, or statement, Jack Wright came out with the video of her actually, sexually assaulting him,
yeah,
right? Which is definitely
yeah,
a blow to her, right?
yeah.
Because what can she do now, right? She
It's I
can't.
think this I mean this definitely needs to go legal.
Yeah.
Whatever needs to happen just like a normal
Because
um
it isn't okay,
legal
right?
proceeding. Just because
Sexual
it's
assault.
right, just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's we'll battle it out over TikToks. No, it's a
No,
serious thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's sad to see stuff like this happen.
yeah,
And I don't think this is the first case,
mhm,
right? That of some sort, like, of something like this, right?
mhm.
Because the dude was unconscious, knocked out unconscious, and
Yeah,
she
yeah,
without any consent, right?
yeah.
Apparently there was some sort of like thing between them, right? But it
Mhm.
was never
But
official.
still, it does because you're
Just because,
doesn't matter. That's what I think I read the statement as well, and the friends looked out for him. That's
mhm.
why they started recording. But yeah, no, this I think this whole freedom of speech thing, media, and all of this is very interesting. We'll definitely have more on this in the future.
Actually, the thing is that
Mhm,
social media,
mhm.
the thing about like free speech is that you can literally say anything on it,
Yeah,
right? You'll get banned, right? And maybe be
yeah,
followed up by like federal or
yeah,
some allegations, but you can say that whatever you
yeah,
want for a small period of time where
mhm,
you won't be
yeah,
so many people can see, like, maybe if you post a video like hate speech or call to
mhm,
action or whatever,
yeah,
you can say whatever you want, right?
yeah,
It'll be up for a small time. Of course it's going to go down by
mhm,
whatever ban, right?
yeah.
But they can say stuff like that, which is
Yeah,
kind of scary
you
because
know what? For me is I think you should be able to say whatever you want, even though it's false. Obviously, not defaming someone, but let's say you just say a false statistic. Like you have every right to say that, right? You're not claiming it's true or anything. You're just saying that you're just stating something out there. You have every right, and we can't stop you. Like there's nothing I can do to stop you. I don't think anyone has that right to over you. But what I said earlier is what we do have control over is to make kids recognize that that is false.
Mm,
So then
mm.
we solve two problems: is one, we don't have to restrict anyone's speech, and two, we as a society know that no one's falling for that BS, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because once this happens, once it might start out with misinformation, but slowly you will see a restriction in freedom of speech.
I
So
think
once
definitely.
it's there. We need to set the limit, freedom of speech, right? Obviously, with the exceptions that we see in the Supreme Court cases. But after that, this is where the values come in. This is where our education comes in, and where, as a society, we have to ensure that our kids, our generation, they're not falling for it, right?
And I think that we also have to establish that our words have meaning, right?
Yeah,
Whatever you put on social media, that
yeah,
means something, and people are going to be able to see it.
hmm,
So you do have a say in whatever, maybe
yeah.
you're bringing power to yourself,
You
right, through
can,
social media,
yeah.
but you have to realize that with that power comes responsibility, right?
Spider Man.
And it's
Yeah,
you have an influence, so make
yeah,
sure that you know you're
hmm,
s- you're s- you're educated enough, right? You
yeah,
can educate yourself on how to navigate through social media because
hmm,
you can impact a whole bunch of people
yeah.
without even knowing,
I mean,
right?
you can go on like any sort of website right now, create a beautiful infographic, fill it with false information, and because it's a beautiful infographic, people will believe you. That's a lot
Exactly.
of power that you have, that people will believe you, and no, that's dangerous. So we have to make sure people aren't doing that.
Don't believe
Without,
everything you see. right?
Don't believe everything. I think this is where, like, your parents don't believe everything you see. Don't believe this is true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how true it was until now.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Mm.
Absolutely right.
I mean, our parents, man, they have like
Yeah.
thousands of generations of knowledge stored in
Before I
them.
used to be like, but mom, it's Britannica, or it's a credible website. But now I'm starting to see, like, trust your parents are right. Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
They've been through it all before, right? And
Yeah.
I've been trumped countless times, right?
Yeah.
Been by them, and
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from them, and I
course.
thank them from that. But
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't want to agree with them.
Yeah.
but
No, it's just the natural instinct to
but
not.
they're mostly always right.
But you
know?
always realize as you grow up that, oh shit, that was right. But yeah,
I think that was a great conversation, man. I think
for sure.
we brought up a lot of different topics,
Yep.
and I think that was great. Well,
Yep.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Right,
Mhm.
I hope to see you next time.
Mhm.
Podcasts have been coming, slowly, but
Yeah.
we're trying to make more as soon as we free up, right? And
Mhm.
we'll start posting weekly again,
And
right?
yeah.
I know it's been more of like a monthly thing, but
Yeah.
the bite-sized
Bite-sized
monthly,
weekly. But
but
yeah,
we'll try to
I
push out
will
more
say this
content.
though is our source, our content. Don't think it's limited to this, because what we will ensure is our social media, our Instagram. It is we will post content through that as well, and so just watch out for that. Because obviously, like, the more content we can push out, obviously it's better for you guys, and it's fun for us too. So definitely watch out for that. And
Great things are coming. Great
great
things
things
are
are
coming.
coming. Yeah, they're already here, man. Alrighty.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.